There's no such thing as a perfect player, but if there was, what would a perfect draft pick look like to you in the first round?
Well, they check all the boxes. They'd be extremely competitive and extremely intelligent and help you win hockey games.
You've talked about intelligence before. Like, what does intelligence look like on the ice to you?
I think there's lots of factors that go into it, but ultimately it's doing the things that help teams win hockey games. That's the best way I can put it without getting too much into the detail.
Brad was talking about possibly adding draft capital. Like, is that a conversation he has with you before going out? Do you ask for it? Like, how does that give and take work?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're always having discussion on that, and in my opinion, more bullets the better every single year, right? Doesn't matter who you like. We can't predict the future, so choose who we like, and the more the bullets you have, the better situation you're in.
There's going to be some players available that have pro experience, either in the KHL in Sweden. Do you value pro experience at all when it comes to making a draft pick?
Not really.
Why not?
We just stick to our process and try and take the best player available.
Besides competitiveness, intelligence, what other traits do you really look for in a draft pick?
Skill, offensive instincts, defensive instincts, ability to influence winning hockey.
You brought players to Ford the Sunday after the Combine. You've done that before. What's kind of the purpose of that?
Get to know some of the kids a little better, get our medical team to take a look at some of the kids. Sometimes it's better to spend a little extra time with certain guys, for sure.
We know Brad Treliving likes size, at least in defensemen. Has that become more of a priority, looking for defensemen for you?
No, I don't think that. We've never targeted small defensemen. I think, in a perfect world, they're all big, fast, strong, competitive, offensive, defensive. I mean, if all things equal out, you got to take the bigger player.
When you look back last year, picking Easton Callan at 28, did you think it could work out this quickly, at least from a developmental standpoint? Maybe not pro, obviously, but like in terms of what he's been able to do in this year?
Obviously, we had high expectations, but I think everything that he did this year was all on Easton, and I think he exceeded our expectations, no doubt.
I think the pick probably raised a lot of eyebrows. Do you feel that like his success has kind of helped you maybe go off the board again this year?
No, I mean, I know you guys thought we reached for him last year, but again, we have a process that we stick to, and don't let the outside noise affect what we're doing inside. And again, we stick to what we believe in and attack it and see how it falls down the road.
Do you have, or have you ever had any hesitance about drafting Russian players?
No.
How difficult is it to scout them? Has it been more difficult this year? Or?
I got a big belief in watching the film, so whether they're Russian, whether they're European, whether they're North American, we watch a lot of films, so it's no different.
So Brad, how's it feel to have a first full off season with the team and kind of dealing with everything there?
Yeah, well, it's been too long. It feels feels like it's been a long off season thus far. So we've got lots of work to do. We said it last time we met with all of you that we've got a lot of work to do this summer, and we've that began right after the season. Obviously, bringing Craig in, working through the coaching staff changes that have been made, and then have been working on the roster. And so obviously this week we're here, you're dealing with the draft, and doing a lot of the work that goes into building your team over the course of the summer. And keep in mind, this is 1 week, and I know we all get focused in on the draft over the next 2 days, which is key, and the start of free agency. But we don't play till October, and we'll continue to work, as we said, look at all avenues to try to make our team better between now and puck drop.
Have you identified a number one priority between now and July 1st?
Well, I think there's lots of priorities. I think for us, I don't think it's a secret. Our defense is an area that we'd like to see if we can improve. Easier said than done. So, but that's certainly an area that we've been focused on. Looking at the trade market since we've finished the end of the year, the difficulty, the types of players you're looking for usually aren't available in the trade market. So that's an area right now. We've got some cap space. but you do look at the holes that we have to fill, and it goes quickly. So, we're trying to be as prudent as we can to look at the defense. I wouldn't say look at it first, but look at it first before we commit too many cap dollars anywhere else.
What are the odds you keep your first round pick?
I don't know what that is, Josh. That's probably not very good if I deal it, but I wouldn't say I'm not opposed to moving it. I would say, as I sit here right now, more than likely we're making the pick. We'd certainly look at it if it fits obviously a player that can fill a hole in our lineup right now. I don't think that's likely. The next step with that, Josh, is looking to possibly acquire more draft capital. We'll see, but I think it's probably more than likely right now that we're going to make the pick.
There's so much discussion about Mitch Marner and his status with the team. With you able to extend him as of July 1st, do you expect to try to do that?
Well, you know what, Chris, I'm not going to speculate on everything. I think it's real clear. I want to make it real clear. Mitch is a star. Mitch is a superstar in the league, and he's been that since he's entered the league, and he's been that ever since he put on a Maple Leaf jersey. We said it at the end of the year that we weren't happy how the year ended. That's not Mitch. Let's not focus it on Mitch. As an organization, as a team, we felt we should have gone further than we did. So when that happens, you have to look at everything. And no different than every other 31 teams that are here, we're going to try to make our team better. But I'm not going to speculate on that. Like I said, he's a star. As we do with any player, we're not going to get into speculation on of that nature. But certainly he's a special player.
Obviously, there's a lot of uncertainty in this draft past number one. What kind of depth do you see, once you get to like 15, 14, 15 through the end of the first round?
I think you probably sum that up best. Probably in most recent drafts. Listen, everybody's probably got a little different list, but I would say in the last number of years, you may go around, you may have a different order in the top 5, top 10, but you're probably 32 teams have probably got 8 of the guys there. I think it could be all over the place right now, right? Some really good players. I think when you have a situation like that, it lends itself to have some fallers, as we'd call. There may be somebody that you've got higher than somebody else does, and so therefore I think there's going to be players available. Now we're at 23, whether it gets down to that number that are high on people's lists that are going to get them 10 to 15. I do believe that. So we're comfortable with the group of players that we've got there right now. We'll see, as it is every draft. Until the names start coming off the board, I'm pretty confident. I think I know who's going number one. After that, I think it'll be interesting to see how the board flows.
What are we going to do in goal now that there's been some big name goalies that have swapped teams? Do you adjust your plan as
What
far
are we
as?
going to do here?
Well, I mean, how do you go about?
Yeah. Well, listen, we it's certainly an area when we talk about defense. We feel we got a real good goalie, and I talked about it at the end of the year in Joe Wall, like a really good goalie. We also talked at the end of the year about he's had some unfortunate instances of getting injured. Now, you study that. Is there a pattern? Is this? And again, now touch wood. Sometimes with goaltenders, I look at it a little bit. Is it hips? Is it groins? Is it those? He's had some things that just have happened, right? That sometimes you get injured. So certainly we want to help him stay upright. But no question, we've got I don't see an internal candidate right now that we're going to promote with Joe. So that's whether that be the trade market, whether that be through free agency, we've certainly got to look at the goaltending for sure.
How do discussions, how are they going with some of your pending UFAs?
I haven't got anybody signed yet. They're going, right? It's a little bit as what I talked about earlier, David, is and we all know the players, right? We've got some players, we'd like to retain them. we've got to focus on the defense, right? So it's hard, if you want to give yourself as much flexibility in the blue line, every dollar that you spend up top maybe takes away from that. That's not to say we wouldn't sign a forward. You know, we're just, it's like any negotiation out there yet. So we'll continue that, you know, over the course of the next, whatever it is, till Monday, I guess it is, free agency, or Monday, Tuesday, whenever the first is. Certainly some players we'd like to retain. You got X amount of dollars, you got X amount of seats. It's, you know, you just got to see if the math works.
Would you be looking to create more X amount of dollars, like via trade? Like you mentioned, you have cap space, but you could have more cap space.
Oh, there's all sorts of ways to,
Yeah.
that'd be one way to create space, right? But you don't want to necessarily make yourself worse either, right? And so we'll we'll keep working away at the puzzle, but certainly we'd like to, you know, certainly there's some players in our team we'd like that are unrestricted that we'd like to sign. We'll see if it's a fit for both sides and we can get a deal done.
Where are you at with your RFAs, Liljegren and Robertson?
Liljegren and Robertson. Yeah, you know, nothing really to report there. Similar as we talked about with our UFAs. You know, that's the difference between the two is Lily's got arb rights. So sometimes, again, just as we all know, you look at it and the qualifying offer is one thing. What the arb case could be is another. So, you know, we've been in touch with his camp to see if there's a number that can work, but that's certainly a consideration, right? Having, you know, the higher the number is, you know, you got to see how that fits into the puzzle as well. So where we are is ongoing talks with their representatives, yeah.
Are you looking to add multiple defensemen through this period of time, NHL defensemen?
You mean
Whether trades or free agency or...
over the course of the offseason?
Before you play the next game?
Yeah, I mean, well, Chris, the math would just say so, right? Like, now, when you say add, it could be guys that we have, right, that are up. But when you look at it, we've got, what do we got? 4 guys under contract, 4 guys under contract, and 3 guys under contract, 4 guys under contract, and 1 guy that's restricted. So we got to add bodies. Now, whether that's guys whose contracts are expiring and bringing them back, we're trying. You know, you look at our defense, and obviously it's, you guys all follow it. Like the right side of our defense, we'd like to help it. Right now, at what cost? And you know, can you do that through the trade market? What it is now, you could probably trade for one, but are you creating another hole somewhere else? Right. So, long-winded answer, Chris, of saying, yeah, I would say we're looking to add more than one.
When you have a player like Mitch, anytime there's any sort of news, it's going to create a lot of noise and such. Does it necessitate? What's that?
There been noise?
Just little bits here and there. Does it necessitate more discussions, kind of to just keep things square between the two sides? You have to. Does it get in the way a little bit? You have to talk to them a little more and just make sure everything is?
Yeah, you know what, Ron? I try to have a real open dialogue with the players all the time. Now, what I can't do is every time that there's, you know, and nothing personal against your guys' side of the business, but sometimes there's reports out there and there's rumors, and especially this time of year, I get it. It's news, right? I'd caution us to pay too much attention to some of the noise. We can't react to all the noise, right? Like that's you can't. Other than Mitch knows what I feel, you know, about him as a player, and you know, in this line of work that we're in, the great thing about playing in the market that we're in is the passion that people have. And when things don't go the way we all want them to go, you see the passion, right? And you just got to stay steady at the wheel. And you know, so we communicate that, but you know, you can't control all the outside noises sometimes. You can't control, you know, what rumors are out there, and you can't just react to them, right? He knows sort of where I'm at and my feelings about him. Like I said, it's, we were all disappointed at the end of the season, right? But that doesn't go on one person's shoulders or 2 people's shoulders. That's our team didn't achieve what we wanted to achieve. We moved by that, and now we look forward. But Mitch is a star. You know, this guy's like I said, there's very few players that come into the league and do what he did from day one, and special player.
How would you label what you're doing with Mitch in the sense that, you know, you can't control when teams are phoning you, but is it more just making sure all your options are open? Or, I mean, it was reported today that you're very aggressively trying to trade him And how would you sort of categorize what's,
Well, I'm not gonna speculate. I didn't see what was reported today. I'm sure there'll be reports tomorrow, but I'm not gonna get into all that. I'm just gonna come back, as I said, great player, you know, and we're gonna just continue to move along, see how we make our team better. But I can't get wrapped up into the noise.
Thanks, Brett.
Anything else?
Thank
Good?
you.
Okay.